funny.
Oh, I got you one of these.
Okay, so
Oh man, it's great.
initial conception of
Thank you
it,
so much.
like where the idea came from, that I can't speak to. That's, you have to talk to James Tucker about that. But I can tell you that we have these producer meetings at Warner Brothers Animation, and I do a couple different shows. And I remember sitting in there, and they were talking about this, and this was a couple years ago now, and James was talking about how they were going to get Adam West, and I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, like someone else is going to get to direct this thing. Like I want to direct this thing. Like I want to be involved in it, and it just didn't seem like that was possible. And then as it moved further along, they gave me a call and they're like, hey, James wants you to do it. And I was like, thank God, because there's any of these DC direct-to-video things that I wanted to be involved in. It's definitely this one. Adam West was such a big influence. That show, especially when I was a kid, really made me love Batman and Robin, and kind of in a lot of ways got me into comic books. Becoming a comic book fan as long as I can.
What was one of the more important aspects of what were some of the important aspects of this show that you really wanted to capture, or that era of Batman comics that you really wanted to capture?
In my mind, it was kind of the fun, like the lightness, the humor, like just the big, broad things that you could do with this that you wouldn't necessarily, you would normally tie Batman and Robin to a giant TV dinner tray. But here it completely makes sense. That's the fun, like, scale stuff that you can do. The kind of Dick Sprang type of stuff. Bringing these giant, crazy death traps and just these larger-than-life scenarios, and kind of not have to logic it out so much. How would this thing actually work? Who cares? It's
fun.
Yeah.
So your cast has been playing these roles since before you were born. Who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah, well, you're telling me. I felt the same way, obviously. I mean, it's Adam West and Burt Ward and Julian Newmar, and I gotta tell you, like, I've done a lot of these voice records and things like that, and you work with a lot of great actors and stuff like that, but I don't normally geek out. You try to keep it professional, even though you might be geeking out. Adam West was the only one that I've asked for a picture with afterwards, because I'm like, it's Adam West, I gotta do it, It was a great honor to be able to work with, these, I mean, like you said, 50 years. There's not a whole lot you really have to tell them. He is that, So, and also, the three of them are, they're about the nicest people that you could ever work with. Just really, really gracious, and they read the script. They actually read the script before they came in. Or at least they did a very good acting job of making us believe they had. And they seemed enthusiastic about it. So there's a lot of good energy there.
What do you think the medium of animation brings to Batman 66 that you didn't get from the live-action TV show or the comics?
Just the ability to do much larger set pieces. We can send them to space. We can show them, walking on the space tower. We can put them in these bigger situations that we wouldn't be able to build a set that that was that large, or maybe do some of the action that we conceive in this. So it allows you to broaden the scope of what you can do. Yeah, definitely.
Did you look back at any of the previous incarnations of this era of Batman in preparing for this piece?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we weren't, obviously with Adam West, and it's very era specific, you know, it's 60s. But that show was drawn from the comic books. We were also drawn from the comic books. I think when you watch this, you'll see you know, the title sequence that was done, and that's really an homage to a lot of the great comic book moments throughout the years of Batman's history. Specifically, I wasn't looking at any one particular storyline of the era, but you know, just looking at a lot of the great artwork, you know, from that time that I already mentioned. Well, that's even older, but Dick Sprang and Jerry Robinson. That goes in the very early history of Batman. But yeah, we were taken definitely from those comics of the 60s and even earlier than that.
Would you say then that like the architecture and the vehicles and stuff are kind of timeless and aren't really an era specific? You know, it's sort of in the same way that the animated series almost was an amalgam of several different decades.
Well, no, not necessarily. It is, you know, when you look at the design of like the Batcave, or, you know, obviously we're using the Batmobile. That was, because.
Yeah, absolutely.
You look at the way that the computers are designed, things like that. They feel very much of that 60s era, what you might have seen in like a James Bond film or something back then. You know, lots of little light up nodes and punch cards and signs on everything. You know, it's very era specific as far as the design goes.
In an era of internet rage, was there any hesitation about being concerned about ruining somebody's childhood?
You know what? Like, as a creator, I can't bring myself to be concerned about that, because if I am, then it limits how I'm gonna approach something. I mean, on everything that I do, I try to make it the best that I can, based on what we have on the script, the producers wants, what I feel is. If you start taking all that stuff into account, like, I mean, everybody hates everything. There are going to be people that absolutely despise this movie. Hopefully more that love it. It's the way the world is, you know?
What do you think is going to surprise fans of the 66 Batman about this project, more than anything else?
Well, if they've never been exposed to the Adam West show, I think it's a completely different take than what they've seen in recent years, that may be good or bad depending on their feeling of how Batman should be. But in my view, there's been many incarnations of Batman, and some more successful than others, but he lends himself to nearly any situation. Tucker did Brave and the Bold, which was a great show. I did storyboards on it back in the day, and I remember there was a lot of hate for that before it came out, and people really rejected it just straight off the bat, without giving it a chance. But then I think once it aired, people realized, like, well, this is really, there's a lot of love that went into this and a lot of respect for the character. We weren't just making silly Batman. It's rooted in the comic books and the Adam West show and things like that. And I think people learn to really like it by the time it's over. So I just feel like surprisingly, I think it's funny. I think there's some good humor for fanboys, of which I consider myself to be one. I remember reading the script, and there's my particular favorite line, dig, at the end. It just cracked me up. Hopefully when you guys see it, you'll know what I'm talking about when it involves Paris. But yeah, anyhow, I think just the nature of it to anybody that hasn't been exposed to it should be surprising.
So are there Bat fans? You mentioned people have never been exposed to it before. Do you think this is going to propel some new Bat fans to go and check out the old series on DVD or Netflix?
I hope so, because it's freaking great, and they should all watch it. I've done Batman in many forms at this point in my career, and the stuff that I've done recently is funny. It's like it's all in the '60s, but we did the Lego Batman and the Lego Justice League stuff, and I think that was a great hopping on point for kids, and I think this one has that potential as well to because it really is. I think it's family friendly. You know, there's not a lot of gore or violence or. I mean, there's violence, but yeah, it's within reason, and I think I would feel completely comfortable showing my kids this.
Comparing the Lego stuff to this, I mean, the Lego stuff really does have a frenetic speed to it.
Yes.
And I would think this, because it's more dialogue driven, is that fair? I mean, well, actually, they both are. So compare the two in terms of the pacing of the films.
Well, it's a great question. The Justice League, the Lego Justice League stuff is like super rapid fire.
Yeah.
I mean, when we edit those things, you should see the timeline in our editorials. Like there are virtually no gaps between that dialogue. It just runs and runs and runs. This actually plays a lot slower, and it's not the same sort of humor. It's more camp, and that's it's a more difficult thing than you would think to create that. It's like, what is camp? But that stuff is a lot more slapstick, Looney Tunes. We do physical gags and things like that, and I think this is much less than that. It's these characters take their situation seriously. When they're tied to a TV dinner tray and they're heading to the giant oven. They've got a real sense that this could be the end. There are stakes there, but it's a completely ridiculous situation. So I think that's where the humor breaks on that.
Did you borrow any of the visual language from the '60s series, or did you decide to leave that?
I think watch the movie. You'll see. No, you can't get away from that, but also in a less specific way. Just that kind of trying to get that '60s era of filmmaking. So like Dutch angles, yeah, of course. How could you not? Yeah. So lots of Dutch angles.
If you guys were lucky enough to be able to expand the universe in a sequel or some sort of follow-up, do you have any ideas of where you'd want that to go?
Yes.
What are some of them that you can share with us?
You guys should go to our panel tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how much I can or want to say about that yet, but there are definitely ideas. Strong, solidified ideas.
Do you have any particular villains from the '60s series that you didn't get to use that you would love to play with?
Well, see, if I answer that,
right.
I'm going to give it away.
That's the point.
Yeah, I know that's the point. So I'm not going to answer that.
Okay. Respect.
Rick, you're done here.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.